get going. So, welcome to The Real Build. I am your host, Bill Reiman, your broker builder. And today I got a guest coming from Saint Petersburg, Florida, right nearby where I'm at, about 2.5 hours away, actually. He's the owner of one of the fastest growing solar energy companies in Florida, ranked #1 energy company on the Inc. 5000. He's been featured on Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, big networks. What started as a dream for him has driven over $40 million in revenue. And also, he's the owner of one of the coolest dogs I've ever seen, Marley the Rottweiler. Shawn Henry, welcome to The Real Build. Thanks for coming on, man.
What's going on, Bill, man? Thanks for having me. You got that right, man. Marley is the coolest dog.
She's got her own Instagram too. I was checking that out.
I mean, if you can see the picture in the background of how much I love my dog, she is right there, right next to the Inc. Top 500 ranking too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I like to get started with asking about, your background. So let's talk about who is Shawn Henry.
Well, man, I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy, man. I'm a regular dude. I kind of got into solar because I wanted to help people. My whole life, I've always had a big heart. I've always been a leader in everything I've done, either sports, school activities, my friends, and I got into business because I wanted to be a leader. I chose solar because I was able to help people and make money by helping people. So that's really it, man. I mean, there's not too much to me. I don't like all the bells and whistles. I like just to have fun at a low level. I like to work at a high level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is a good quality to have too, because I mean, obviously that's where how you got to where you are today too. I mean, as far as you and your background too, are you originally from St. Pete? Is that where you're?
No, actually, I was born in Toronto, Ontario.
Okay.
My mom married a very awesome guy, Mark Fawcett. He was an NHL referee, right? We moved down to Florida, I think, in '93 when the Lightning expanded down into Florida. That's what brought me down to this beautiful state.
Okay.
And then they ended up getting divorced when I think I was 15 or 16 years old. And I feel like whenever that happened at that point in my life, I was out to fend for myself. And I think that's where I kind of got the entrepreneurship spirit in me. It was either fight or flight mentality. And honestly, a lot of people, may look at that as a depressing issue in their life. Oh, my parents got divorced. They use this as a knock to, or something to fall back on as an excuse to make, man. For me, I think it was the best thing that happened to me, because at the end of the day, when that happened, I had to get out on my own. And when I did, I've always been a hustler. I've always made things happen. And, transitioning that into business has made all the world, from me going to being a, $1 million company to a $40 million company.
Yeah, and it basically pretty much it was that trigger. I talked about this in the past. It was that trigger that actually made you grow up fast, Yeah, big time. And it helped you obviously get to where you are today. So that's kind of what I want to lead into. Let's discuss your business a little bit. How did your company start? Why did you choose the solar energy or energy efficient, area or arena? And what was your reason behind, getting into business?
Well, there's a lot, man. So, one, I'm extremely blessed to be where I'm at, to be being an entrepreneur, right? Not everybody's cut out for this. And I used to think it was easy until I actually became an entrepreneur, right? Everybody does. They're like, oh, I can do that. Until you get into it. So I've been a salesman my whole life. I used to work for Verizon. I used to do cellular sales. I was, one of their top guys. I was kind of getting sick of the whole cell phone industry. And, I kind of put myself in a bad position at some point in my life. I, got in a little bit of trouble. At that point, I needed to leave Verizon. So I went and started working for this solar company, an energy efficiency company based out of Texas.
Okay. Soon
did I realize that they were ripping people off left and right? They would guarantee these savings that were just BS. There was nothing behind it. It was just kind of a Ponzi scheme. So I worked there for about a month. At one point in the meeting, they were kind of going over numbers, and the owner just wasn't a good dude. I got up, I quit. I was walking out of the building, and my business partner was walking in. Well, my business partner now was walking in, and he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, if these guys can do this and they're doing it the wrong way, I can go and do it the right way." And he said, "Do you want to partner?" I said, "Absolutely." So we met at the local Wawa, and we started putting this business plan together. We thought we were going to be rich. We're like, man, we're going to be, making millions of dollars and driving fancy cars and have these houses. And, soon did we find out, man, we were almost negative $17,000, 8 months later. Everybody was playing the blame game with each other. So at that point in time, we were just doing efficiencies. We were just going door to door trying to sell blown in insulation. We were doing like solar attic fans, radiant barrier. We didn't even get into solar at this point. How we got to the negative $17,000 is, this is a crazy story. So we had this one homeowner, huge house. We did radiant barrier. We did some solar attic fans, hot water heater, and it was like a $17,000 or $18,000 package. The guy stroked us a check. Okay. The next day, the guy died. The kids canceled the check. All right. We're a start. So check gets canceled, check bounces on our account, we owe all this money. We come back to Saint Petersburg. We started in Fort Myers. We came back to St. Pete. We split up. Me and my business partner split up at that point. And I went and I met with my current business mentor, somebody that I had just met. His name's Andrew Wilson. He owns SecureNet Technologies, this huge alarm company. He sat me down and he said, he's Australian. He said, "Listen, mate," he said, "if business was easy, everybody would be doing it." Right. And that's when it clicked. It's like, not everybody's built for this. Mm-hmm. He gave me a check for $3,000, barely knew the guy, and said, "Go get a fresh start. Go open a new bank account." I went and I opened a new bank account. The day I did that, I got 3 phone calls from past customers for referrals for cash jobs. Went down to Fort Myers, banged out those jobs. I ended up making like another 18 grand. So now I got $21,000 in the account, right? Paid off my debt to Wells Fargo. Then I went and partnered with a small solar company here based in St. Petersburg called 3D Solar. At that time, they were like a 3-man operation. Now remember, my background is in sales. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I blew this guy's company up. I went and got a few guys. We started doing 80% of his fulfillment. At that point in time, I started realizing that, I want to get into solar. I need to be full-time solar. I need to start an energy efficiency and solar company. So at that point in time, man, I figured out how to do it on my own. I went out, I got the licensing. And at that point back in the day, you could use green. I think everybody knows, if you're in, home improvement, everybody knows who Green Sky is, right? Mm-hmm. They're the big finance company. At that point back in the day, it was kind of like a credit card. You can go out and sell a job, come back to your office, swipe that card, and you're getting paid the next day. Mm-hmm. So we kind of faked it till we made it, right? We were going out, we were funding these jobs a little early only because we had to. We're a startup. I didn't have any capital. I didn't have any big people backing me. I mean, literally, our story is we started with $5 grand and we took it to $40 million. And then we just kind of started growing my company. And, I have such a great team, and I can't take all the credit because my team is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for everybody on my executive staff. They've all been with me for over 3 years. They've all been on this journey with me. And, that's kind of how we got into the whole solar game and the solar industry. And, now our next couple steps is, how can we go national,
Yeah, and your story's awesome too, man, because and it does have a lot to do with you too. I know you got your team, but your team is a resemblance of you too. And you coming from, that your first initial company where the guy was ripping off everybody and doing it the right way too, which I'm a big advocate of. And that's why I started doing this podcast, to show people what the right way is. Because me and you were talking about it before this too. There's so many, especially in the good times too. Everybody wants to be a builder. Everybody wants to get into solar. They want to get into this because they want to get rich, make that money quick. But you had to, work your ass off to get to where you are, and you built that foundation. And now you got that team behind you too, and those core values too.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of who I am. Speaking of the core values, man, that is, to me, the number one key to our success and our culture here. Like, I think any home improvement company, we all have turnover, especially a company my size. I have employees. The turnover in this industry is pretty insane, and we don't have that here. And when we do have turnover here, they always come back. They always want to come. We were just having a meeting yesterday, a leadership meeting, and we were talking about it. And almost 90% of the people that leave my company, they realize the grass isn't greener on the other side. Mm-hmm. They come back. And, I'm a big believer in second chances, but third chances, especially in the construction industry. If anybody out there listening, like, if you have a good job and you're with a good company, keep that job. The grass is not greener on the other side. It never is. People want to go and think they're going to make a quick buck elsewhere. Stick to where you're comfortable and stick to what you know. I mean, that's the best advice I could give anybody in the home improvement construction industry. But yeah, man, speaking of the core values, I mean, that is something we've implemented, I'd say almost a year ago, and they're who I am as a person.
Hmm.
And I hire and fire on core values. Like at the end of the day, you can train on skill, but you can't train on character.
Hmm.
So, yeah, man, that's a huge part of who we are here. And, I feel like that's been a huge part of our growth is our core values and implementing that culture here of, man, this is a place where I want to work. Like, if you can see, like, this is how my whole building is. We have nice paintings everywhere. We're very modern here. We're
Hmm.
hip. We like to have fun. At the end of the day, I mean, what job, can you make money at? Have fun and help people.
Yeah.
EHS,
Yeah. And to see that's what's awesome. That and them actually coming back too and keeping those employees there and everything. That's what business is all about too. And you creating that. And that's awesome to hear, man. Too. But so let's dive into this a little bit. Obviously, about this show is mainly about delivering value to the customer and kind of teaching them what to look for in the construction real estate industry. So I know you specialize in providing a bunch of energy efficient services to address every aspect of a home's energy. Uh, let's discuss the services that you provide. I mean, I looked into a lot of them that you're doing and how are they benefiting the customer. So I know you're doing solar panels, I know you're doing AC, windows, all this. So let's dive into those. And
So my business model is set up around the efficiency piece, right? You have
Mhm.
AC companies are going to sell you AC, insulation companies are going to sell you insulation, solar companies are going to sell you solar, so on and so on. So we
Mhm.
took the approach of, let's be different, man. Let's shake up the industry. So we have a formula that we call it phase one items, which that's either going to be AC insulation, spray foam, windows, doors, roofs, which roofs aren't going to save you much on your energy, but all those other products, we kind of have a program that we can punch in the kilowatt usage and punch in what products they're getting, and it lowers the bill on the efficiency side, right? So when you lower the bill on the efficiency side, you don't have to put as much solar on the house. So you're not just slapping a Band-Aid on the home with solar, right? Eventually a home's going to need insulation. Eventually it's going to need a new hot water heater. Eventually it's going to need AC. So we take the approach of, let's fix all the stuff on the front end. Let's get that bill down a little bit, and then let's put solar on your
Mhm.
home, right? And that approach has really worked for us. And that's kind of our niche. Other companies have tried it, but they're not successful because there's a math to it. There's a science to it.
Oh yeah.
We've been doing it so long that it took us a while to figure out. It took us almost 3 years to actually get it to the kind of within the dollar amount, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you. There was a year and a half ago that, I almost spent $250,000 going out and fixing some of these issues. So through trial and error, man, that's how we've become so successful with implementing the efficiencies with the solar. We take that holistic approach.
Yeah, and that's cool too, because you don't really, I mean, everybody wants to focus on one thing, and then there's you that you're kind of almost like that one-stop shop for energy efficient homes too. So if me being a builder, I can have you come out, you run all the energy calcs or whatever that the home needs, and about all that, especially down here in Florida, especially in where I'm at too. I mean, they require that, but then you can come in and say, all right, we need these type of windows, we need
Yeah.
this type of AC unit's going to run more efficiently than this one that you're using. Let's do the spray foam, the icing in the attic. Let's do, it's a good model because you don't see it. I mean, that's,
It's tough to do, man. It takes a lot of cash flow to do that as well. So
yeah.
a man once told me, he said, you should only be great at one thing. And I said,
Hmm.
screw that. I was like, I'm going to be great at multiple things, right? Like, that these are like, this is, we're about to be in 2020. Like there's different ways of doing things in more efficient ways. And, how I've kind of, made this model work is I have really great people in every
Hmm.
department that are a reflection of me, and they know that, right?
Hmm.
And just have some hack, under you and expect them, like I've been there and I've done that, and I've lost money because of people like that. So now I spend more money having the right people in places to make sure that we're not having those issues, and that we are, kind of pumping on every angle, whether it's windows, insulation, hybrid hot water heaters, and then all the way up to solar. So,
Cool.
we've kind of mastered it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So going off of that a little bit, let's talk about the brands you're using, because I'm curious myself too. What are you using for as far as AC? Your window brands that you like installing? I mean, that could be anything, I know, depending on the area and what they're looking for. But let's talk about some brands that you're going with.
So the brands that we use, I only work with top of the line, right? When it comes to ACs, we use Train and Ream.
Okay.
Windows, it just depends what area you're in. We'll use Pella or Anderson. When it comes to solar panels, we use QCell, and we're partnered with LG. We use in-phase inverters. Our hot water heaters, we only use Ream. We only use the hybrid products because they are the most energy efficient. And I'm a big believer in building value. I'm not going to be the cheapest, but you're going to get the best products from me. You're going to get the best service, and you're going to have a great time doing it, man, because we are turnkey. We keep you informed every step of the project. I feel like that's what we're best at, is our communication, because at some point in business, we weren't that great at that. And, as you dive into every department and you try to fix and perfect every area of the company, so then it can grow and you can scale. And speaking about the brands, man, I mean, I want EHS to be a brand like Train, like, like In-Phase, something that's well known, for quality.
Yeah, and I every episode I always talk about this too, because we're us as a builder, we're not the cheapest at all, and I try, and that's the whole point of this whole thing, is to try and teach people that the less price is not always the best price. You get what you pay for. I'm a big advocate on that, and everything, every business, and so on. I mean, if you're paying extreme amounts for a guy that's going to do crap work, okay, sometimes, but what you're paying for too, because you have that backing, you have the customer reviews and so on, and you've established that reputation. And it's just price. People look at price and the numbers too much, and that's happened to me recently. And we're not meant for everybody. Andy Frisell has actually said that too many times. We both follow him, so being a part of Arte, but it's just, we're not meant for everybody, and maybe them going the less expensive route, in the end, yeah, they might get screwed later on, play the long run and so on. They'll be back and coming knocking on your door to try and fix the problems that they had.
We stress that to people, man, especially when it deals with solar, because a lot of these, we were just talking earlier, a lot of these smaller companies, there are going to be some issues at the end of the year. When the tariffs go up a little bit, the tax credit goes down, those margins are going to shrink. Now, what's going to happen when that company goes out of business and that homeowner calls me for a service call? I charge them, $175 to go out and just look at it, and then $100 an hour. And that's no product cost if there's something broken or anything like that. So it's like, at the end of the day, and I stress that to our homeowners, is, hey, you may save $3 or $4 grand up front, but we're going to still be here standing in 20 years, and they're not going to be. And solar doesn't have a lot of moving parts, but it still is electrical involved. And as we know, if the grid goes down, your system's going to go down. And I think everybody loses power at least once a year, right? I mean, I know where we're at in St. Pete, we have outages occasionally. The grid goes down. And I don't have battery backup on my house. Thank God I know how to reset my system, right? I don't have to have somebody come out. But for the average consumer, man, I mean, they just don't understand that. Like, yeah, you're going to spend maybe an extra $3 grand right now, which if you break down on financing, it's like an extra $8 a month.
Yeah.
But then what's going to happen when your system goes down? And then you're calling me, and now you're going to have to pay me cash for us just to go come out and just take a look at your system. So I try to stress that, man, but some people just don't get it, they just don't. And, we have a saying around here, and this is, Andy said this, is you can't fix stupid. At the end of the day, you cannot drill that into somebody. At the end of the day, they're just going to look at that bottom dollar and say, no, I want the cheapest price. I want the cheapest this. I want the cheapest that. Well, all right, well, I'll see you in a few months. That's so. And I just saw, you made a post the other day or something on your Instagram. You guys were scrubbing walls, you were painting, doing stucco. The industry needs more people like you, right? Like, you're in there, and you are hands-on with these homes. You're in there fixing it. You see a lot of these realtors these days that like we were talking about earlier in this Craigslist thing, they go on Craigslist and they get these hacks. And these hacks come out and they do shoddy work, and it's not up to what the buyer or seller really wants. And then you're wasting more time going back out. And, I'm working on a business model right now, not through EHS, but something I'm working on the side to kind of fix that within the realtor space, to offer them a platform that's going to have certified contractors on there that they can trust with their work. And that's something, me and you can discuss possibly in the future.
Yeah, because it's and the reason I mean, because I've been in real estate for a while, and that's why a lot of people actually go with me too, because of that construction background, but because of going above and beyond, because it's not just, all right, give me the paycheck and then you're off, like a lot of them, unfortunately. And I've had a few realtors on the show and we've discussed this, that a lot of them, they take that commission check and they're done. They don't follow up. They don't talk to the customer. Or during the inspection process, I've had to hold deals together because I had the other agent freaking out. I'm like, listen, I can fix all this. Me being a contractor too, legally I can go in and fix the stuff, patching stucco, doing paint and touch up, stuff like that. It's easy for me. I mean, your typical real estate agent is like, I ain't touching that. But for, for me, it's easy stuff that I can do to help my customers close the transaction 10 times easier without any headaches. I mean, I patch their grout on the stairs because my buyer's like, oh, I don't like how that grout chipped up. I'm like, listen, I'll find the exact grout, I'll match it, then I'll patch the staircase for you. It's not hard.
That's what it's about, man. Because at the end of the day, those homeowners are going to know somebody. Maybe buying another. This may not be their forever home. They may know other people that either are moving down or friends and family. And who do you think they're going to refer their friends to? You, right? At the end of the day, they're going to refer them to you because they're going to feel comfortable. Like, man, this guy, not only did he sell me the house, but he serviced the crap out of us. He fixed all the little issues right there on site. Like, that says a lot about you, man. And, that's probably why you've been so successful. And, I feel like there need to be more people like you out there, especially in the construction industry and in the realtor space. I feel like, everybody wants to be a realtor, and,
especially in Florida.
Everybody, it's crazy, man. And I always make a joke about that, and it's like they don't really understand how hard it truly is until they're like, Jesus, I only sold 1 or 2 houses this year. But it's because they don't have the drive. They don't try to be better. They look at it as, well, I'm not going to go to college, so I'm just going to be a realtor. Well, at the end of the day, it still takes work to go out and make money. If you don't got the drive and the work, man, you ain't gonna make it. So
well, it's going above and beyond, like me and you talked about too, man. And any business too. Like, I'm revamping our customer service for our construction company now. I got a guy dedicated to customer service, and I told him no emails, pick up the phone. I cannot stand the back and forth email crap. Email comes off, in a certain way that it shouldn't, and people take it a different way and the communication gets all screwed up. Just pick up the phone, call them, and that's it, and check on them. It's like, and how's your house doing? We built it 2 years ago. I know you're out of warranty, but if you need anything, let us be that gatekeeper in between the process of you trying to find a plumber if you need one, or an AC guy to come do maintenance. Let us be those people. You know what I mean? So
that's how you build a brand, man. And I'm big. My team kind of hates me sometimes because I'm not a texter and I'm not an emailer. You may get 10 phone calls from me in 5 minutes. And
I'm the same way.
Just get on the phone, man. Let's just hear it out. The time it takes me to text you, I can dial your number and we can have a full-blown conversation on the phone within a minute, right? Texting I feel like texting takes too long. I used to have really bad ADHD, right? And when I was a kid, I used to hate it. I used to think there was something wrong with me. I used to be, an outcast, I felt like. But now that I'm an adult and I'm in business and my days go so quick, I am so blessed to have the ADHD inside of me, because I can multitask like no other human on this planet. I feel like that's my strength, is I can do 10 things at one time and execute on a high level, where I feel like a lot of people that are thinkers, they can't do that because they think way too much. They spin the wheels too much. There's too much spinning and no action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then they just sit and nothing gets done, as you know too. So, that's awesome, man. So let's go into the next one, like your pre-planning stages. What should customers look for in this stage with you? So, as far as if they are shopping an energy efficient company or looking for solar, we both know that they're going to shop other contractors. We just talked about this. what can we do to help them select the right contractor based on the quality and also the connection and not just price?
Honestly, man, it comes down to reviews, man. It comes down to reviews, credibility of the company. You know, when we go into a home, we have a full-blown sales presentation that, you know, my sales reps, they train 3 times a week on. We're huge on training here, nonstop training. You know, I had a salesman background, and I knew what worked for me was, and what made me great was nonstop training, nonstop rebuttal training, but also product knowledge and just knowing the company, the products, and the industry. You know, it's everybody's selling solar right now. There's so
Yeah.
many companies, right? And how we've been so successful in this space and how we get to keep our margins the way we do is, you know, we've built the brand and we've built it off customer service. And also, my sales reps know that they can call me at any time and say, hey, this is the CEO of the company. He has over 4,000 homeowners, you know, but he gives his personal cell phone number out to clients. And it's not because they have to call me. It's because I'm confident that I can give them my number because my team is so amazing that they're only going to call me and tell me how great of an experience it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's how we've been able to separate ourselves, make it more personable on a personal level. But also, man, we do a lot of other stuff too that, you know, makes homeowners feel comfortable with us. We have automation emails that go out every time a status is changed in our CRM. The homeowner's updated. We do a welcome call. We do site surveys. Gosh, there's so much crap that we do. I mean, leave behind folders, thank you videos. When we leave the house, my reps have to send a thank you video in front of their home, thanking Mr. and Mrs. Jones for allowing them in their beautiful home today. And, you know, thank you. And they get personal with them. And, you know, we try to build that relationship. You know, you can't, like
That's awesome.
Andy and his company with First Form, they send the handwritten notes. If you've ever ordered products from them, those notes are
Oh yeah.
detailed. It's not just like, hey, enjoy your product. It'll be like, hey, Mr. Henry, thank you for ordering, you
Yeah,
know,
it takes time.
protein, you know, you're going to really enjoy this stuff. It tastes great. Like, they put time and thought into that. People, they see that.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of taken that approach. You know, I've taken a lot from Andy and his company, and I've been able to implement it in mine. And that's kind of made the world a difference for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like EHS is the best company in the state of, you know, energy efficiency, construction, whatever you want to call it, company in the state of Florida, is because we service our homeowners. We have a saying in our company is, we service, we don't sell. Right. And we have a heart of service, and like, it's all about servicing. Because when you service people, one, they're going to feel comfortable and they're going to trust you to buy from you. Right. Two, they're not going to forget who you are.
Yeah.
If you go out and you have a great meal and your service absolutely amazing, they're on it, they're at your table, you know, not too much, but enough to make sure your drinks are filled and they're funny and they got great conversation, you're going to go back to that restaurant and you're going to want to sit with that server again. I know I'm a creature of habit. And that is, you know, my big thing for me. And I get a lot of people that work for me through the restaurants I go out to. Like, if I see somebody good, I'm very aggressive. I'll go right up to them, give them a card and say, listen, man, I have a heck of an opportunity for you. I'd like you to come join our team, our culture. And then I'll give them a core values card. So we have these little cards, and I'll actually show it to you. I have it taped to my computer, but this is my core value card. All right. Everybody in my company has to have one of these on them at all time. And if they don't, they get written up. I don't play games when it comes to my core values. And, you know, we show those to our homeowners, and we let the homeowners know, you know, this is who we are as a company. This is who the CEO is as the company. And this is how we're going to take care of you. And this is our dedication to you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, is we're going to adhere to all these core values, and we're going to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah, that's big right there too. I mean, for the customer, what you just said for the customer too, for them to see and go with a company like you and have that service, and it's not just about the sell. That's the way I implement it. And even with real estate, that's the way I implement it too. It's about the service, like we just talked about, not all about that sale. And then even with our building company too, that's what I'm trying to get better, because you know, long story short, now we're in a transition phase where I can implement a lot of different things that I've always wanted to do. So that's huge. I mean, and then having the core value card too, I might take that one from you too. That's pretty cool.
I mean, that having those cards and being able to hand those to your homeowners,
Mm-hmm.
clients will say, hey, this is who we are as a
That's
company.
awesome.
When you don't have the other 5 companies that are going to their house that have all this stuff, and that, you know, let them know, like, hey, you can trust. It comes down to trust. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're dealing with people's properties. That is their number one investment, right? Besides a
Mm-hmm.
wife, kids, and all that, that is their number one investment. So it's like, take great care of it. And I'm a big believer on that. Like I want my people to treat, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Jones's house as if it was mine. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's huge, man. And I'm not in this. I never got into business to make money, right? And the money will come. Well, I did. Okay, I take that back. Because in the beginning, I did. I was in it for the wrong reasons. And once I started, you know, fine tuning my company and kind of making it, you know, customer related, having good people, having a great culture, that's when we started to blow up. That's when things have started to happen to me. You know, the Inc. 500 being ranked #1 in Florida, 179th fastest growing company. I mean, dude,
That's awesome.
like that is, to me, that's not because of me. That's because of my wonderful consumers who trusted in EHS, you know, and trusted us to do the work on their properties and trusted us to, you know, facilitate them with the efficiencies and the solar side of things. You know, so to me, that spoke volumes, that accolade that we got to the company, but from our consumers. You know what I mean? Because our consumers
Mm-hmm.
are everything. We don't have them, we don't have a business. And a lot of companies don't understand that. You know, these smaller companies, they'll go out and they'll rip somebody off. They'll undersize a system.
Yeah,
They,
because
because they want the money, but they don't realize that you spend a little bit of money in the beginning, you're going to have a brand and a company that's going to last a lot longer than just a few years. You know, and that's kind of where we've gotten, you know, I've already been through it all. I've been through the mistakes, the mishaps, all the, you know, wanting to just make the quick buck. And, you know, once you realize that it's not about the money and it's about building a brand, you're going to make a lot more money.
Oh yeah, and I'm big. I just actually did a post about that too, and probably people rolled their eyes where I said it's not about the money to me, you know. And I go, I know people are going to roll their eyes about this, but it's actually about helping people. I actually care to help them, and you know they hear that and they don't believe it because you know they're probably got ripped off in the past, or you know maybe they have that mentality where it is about money. I don't know, but it really with me, it's just about that service and really helping people find a house or build them a nice house that is quality. And that's what I sell our product on is look at the quality. I touch everything as I'm taking them through. Look at the cabinetry. Now go to this builder and look at his stuff and then come back to me and compare,
I
you
love
know?
that because honestly, we're in a state that, you know, 10 years ago, people were getting ripped off
Oh,
left
yeah.
a little bit longer. You know, there was a point in time in Florida where contractors was taking advantage of our work.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, contractors, you know, have a bad name in Florida. And that's why I took my company and said, listen, we're not going to be like these other contractors. We're going to be different. We're going to separate ourselves through service. So you're doing the right thing, man. You're going to build your brand based off of service. You're going to be, I can already tell you're going to be one of the biggest builders in Florida one day. Mark my words on this one.
That's the goal, man. That's the overall long term too. Next step's Naples. So, you know, I'm working towards it big time, but it's all about, as you know, too, it's all about building that brand and showing people too, which I've been doing more of too. And I've noticed even showing them on social media because I wasn't doing it before. I've had people reach out to me. They're like, hey, I see what you're doing. I like it, you know, and that's what it's all about. I just want to help, you know, that's the whole thing too. And yeah, I'm going to make money along the way. Obviously the money's nice. I'm not going to say money's not nice, but you know, it's more dedicated towards like that final, wow, thank you for all that you did, you know, to help. So,
Artist service, man.
yeah.
Artist.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just briefly, real quick, so people understand this that aren't really familiar with solar. You know, let's talk about the install process. What should potential customers look for when needing solar panels installed? You know, your spray foam AC and all that stuff. You know, most people know, but how do you go about getting the process going too, as far as if they do want solar?
So if they want solar and they sign up with Efficient Home Services, the first thing we do is we send out a site surveyor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes out to the property, he gets up on the roof, he maps out the roof, he makes sure that the roof structure is capable of putting solar on it. He takes all the pictures of the roof layout, front, back, sides of the house. He goes in, he opens up the breaker panel, make sure that the breaker is either 150 to 200 amp, make sure that there's enough slots in there. After that, he sends the drawings over to our engineer. All right, we do our engineering and permitting in-house. From there, the engineer will do the drawings, make sure everything's, you know, good, make sure the structure is good. Then they'll send it into permitting. At that point, it goes into permitting. We get the permit back, then we go out and we install. There's not too much to it, man. A lot of people think solar is tough. It's really not that tough. It is It's more about just having a process in place and making sure that you actually get out to the house. A lot of these companies, they try to use these software programs, and they waste a lot of money and time by not having somebody go out and physically touch the home because they don't want to put this extra salary on their books. Well, I can tell you that, there's been plenty of times that we've run into other companies that they sign up this homeowner and they don't go out to the house, and they get out to the house and there's soft patches on the roof. You can't put solar panels on a soft patch on the roof. It's going to rain, the roof is going to collapse. It's a liability. That's why I feel like our site survey process does separate. And, I take that back, because we are the only company in Florida. One of them, the only one in Saint Pete that I know of, that we do our own engineering and permitting in-house. There's nobody else. Our biggest competitor, who's a good friend of mine, they do a third-party permitting company. And I've tried that in the past. That got me into a really, really bad situation, because they don't care as much about getting your permits turned around. I can honestly say, in the state of Florida, we are the fastest, and I will put my buck on it, that we are the fastest from start to finish. Our average install turnaround is 37 days. There's no other company in Florida that can even touch us on that. And it's because we do our own engineering and permitting. So the second the job's done, everything's on a timeline, right? We sell the job, site surveyor has 48 hours to get out there and do the site survey, okay? From that, he has another 24 hours to get that over to the engineer. Then the engineer has 24 hours to get that into permitting, right? So there were 4 days in. Going to permitting, some municipalities can take a day, some can take up to 30 days, right? We have a list, so we know exactly the timelines for each municipality, and we schedule based off, when we're getting the permit back. And that's how we've been able to kind of get our install times down so quickly. Last year, we were at 117 days. 117 days ago this month was when we hit our big growth spurt, and we realized we had a big problem. And, we all got together, and, 1 year later, we're at 37 days from conception of the customer to the finished product. So, there's not much else I can say about that. That is, from start to finish, we are the fastest. That is the whole process. And there's not much to that process. Now, after the sale, we do turnkey. So from when the panels are installed, we pass inspection, we send the interconnection off for the homeowner as well. So we deal with the power companies too. A lot of the companies don't do that. They feel like when the glass gets on the roof, here, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, here's your interconnection. You pay the fees, you pay this, you pay that. We just like to have everything in our hands, because we know it's going to get done.
Yeah, that's awesome. One-stop shop, like I said, that's the way to do it too. That's awesome. And plus having the engineering too. That's huge. Having it in house too, which I'm sure it helps you tremendously as far as, well, even the customer too. So cost savings, because you don't have to sub that out too. So
Savings, and then like I said, I don't like subbing anything out. I've done it before, and all the mistakes I've ever had in business, I'm not saying we're perfect inside EHS. Most of our big mistakes have come from either subcontractors, subbing out the engineering, the permitting. There was times where she'd be like, oh, this permit's not back yet. It's been 120 days. Well, when we started doing it, we were naive. We didn't know any better. Now doing it on our own, we realized it takes, 13 days.
Yeah.
So she was just literally, she either lost something or, so, at the end of the day, if, you're a construction company, you're in solar, you're listening to this, the biggest thing I did to change my company was to do my engineering and permitting in-house, and it's cheaper. People think because, I'm subbing it out, we don't have to have the salary. It's cheaper to do in-house. You just have to find great people. Our engineer and our permitting department are the best of the best. She's one of the most amazing, not only people I know, but she's also a rock star within this company. And she had no experience with this stuff prior. Like, this is how badass this girl is. She's figures things out. And she's going to have a huge role as this company grows.
Yeah, that's what somebody you want right there for sure. That's for sure. Let's talk savings on it. On average, how much can a homeowner save, using solar? And, can adding energy efficient products to a house increase a home's, resale value? You talked about this a little bit. It's very opinionated, but me personally, I think it does, because people do want to save money. And it's more of a visual thing too, looking at the house. And also let's talk about, we'll start there. Let's start there.
Well, we're in the business of wiping out electric bills. We don't just do partial wipeouts. That's why we added the efficiencies into everything we do, because,
Mm-hmm.
there's a math and science to it where we can take down the front load in the home and then put solar on. A lot of these homes in Florida, there's not enough roof space to zero out a full electric bill. So that's why our niche is working, because I'm not just coming to your house to wipe out your partial bill. I want to wipe that whole thing out. I want you to have just a connection fee. And then speaking on the efficiencies and adding the efficiencies and solar to a home for, as far as property value, like we were talking about, man, it's very opinionated. It
Yeah.
just, who you talk to, CNBC, Zillow, they say, yeah, in the state of Florida, it'll go up 4% property value. But then you talk to, Mike and Joey, realtor, or John, the appraiser, they're going to say, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at it this way. If I'm a buyer and I got two houses next to each other, and one has a $300 electric bill and one has a zeroed out electric bill, and
Yeah.
getting in at a 30-year mortgage, which house are you going to pick?
It's exactly what I was going to do
Which
too.
house are you going to choose? Like, it may not bring the value skyrocketing, but I feel like the actual value in the home for it to sell is going to be a lot higher. And
Oh
yes,
yeah.
efficiencies, I feel like, do bring, property value up, because it's more enticing to a homeowner when they see a brand new AC unit, a brand new hot water heater. It's got spray
Mm-hmm.
insulation in the attic. Your house is cool. Your house stays cool. There's a lot of value in that stuff. But like I said, man, it just depends who you talk to. For me, I'd love to sit here and say all day long that yes, it does, but there's going to be people that are watching that are going to be like, no, it doesn't. But we both know that it does.
Well, see, that's the thing too, that if you know that I know about that stuff when you're so as a broker, I know about this stuff. So if I see energy efficient in a home, like with me, when I'm selling our homes too, I always say there's isonine spray foam insulation in the attic. People don't even think about it, but then when you say it, that adds value to the product too. And they're just, oh, there is, you get that look where you're going to save on your energy bill. All right, now, like you said, two homes next to each other, one has solar, one doesn't. You push it and you say it, and it's from solar from a good company, this and that. It's going to drop your energy bill to this. That's a sales item. So it's more on those realtors that are saying, no, it doesn't affect the value of a home. I think they're full of,
So,
crap.
I just did some quick math. So on a 30-year mortgage, actually I did a 25, we'll just say a 25-year mortgage on this at a power bill at $300 a month. They're saving $150,000 over the 25 years.
There you go.
$150,000.
Yeah.
Until you break down the numbers to people like that, then their eyes get all wide. They're like, oh my God, yeah, you can
Yeah.
buy a house for that. People just don't understand that. And it takes, breaking down the numbers in front of them and then educating them on the products as well. Like we were just talking about spray foam. You go and you show your homeowner and they look at it like, oh, that's cool. But if you explain the benefits of it,
Yeah.
cools down, right? It feels good in your home. There's no humidity, no moisture.
Huge difference.
Huge. Like I have it in my house, and my AC went out the other night, 2 nights ago. First time it's ever happened. My drain line got clogged. 11 p.m. AC goes out, right? I slept like a baby. I woke up and it was still 74 degrees in my home. Normally if you didn't have that, you'd wake up
Oh
at
yeah.
83, 84 degrees in your house.
Yeah.
Just even me experiencing that, which I've never experienced in my home, this was the first time. It gave me a feel good. It's like, damn, that stuff really works really, really, really good, So, I'm a big believer on efficiencies. It's all about how it's presented, and then, who you're speaking to on it, if it's raising value or if it's not. And at the end of the
Yeah, it's like you just said, it's how it's presented. Like I have a guy right now that I'm training, I'm still training because it's a process of teaching him the construction side of things too, but he's a realtor and he's learning, but I'm telling him, know the product. That's the biggest thing. Because when you study the product and you just don't walk in like, typical Jan, the realtor walks in and says, oh, isn't this a big room? Look at the furnishing. It all ties together, or, oh, look at the kitchen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you actually say, hey, look at the cabinets. They're actually quality cabinets. Look at the dovetail on the drawer. Oh, this drawer has undermount slides on it. Oh, that's, that fan is from Fanimation or whatever, Minka Air. That's an expensive fan. And you point these things out as you're walking through, it adds up and people are like, wow, that this home is worth what the value of they're asking,
value thermometer, man. As you
Yeah.
keep saying that stuff and you're explaining the little details to maybe the rose gold screws and this, and like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're explaining. You can make anything sound good.
Oh yeah.
I'll get into the detail of it. Like I could sell you on this marker right here. Like it just has to, you just have to there's just ways and little words and value that you can propose into things that I feel like people miss out on because they're lazy. I feel like that's what it comes down to, is they just don't get into the whole process
The
of,
big room.
yes, big room where it's like, yeah, look at the size of this room. It's, 20 by 20 square feet. It's
Yeah.
got crown molding up top. It's got the high baseboards in the middle, or, at the bottom. And, look at these rose gold door handles. These are super expensive.
Yeah.
Look at the detail. And I don't know, there's just so much crap you can go into that I feel like people don't, because they're lazy, or they just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer on that. Like, if you don't like your job and you don't care, stop. You're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
anybody a favor. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing those homeowners a disservice. Like, go work at Walmart or go wait tables somewhere. Like, and I tell people that here, if you're not happy here, go somewhere else, because at the end of the day, you got to be happy with what you're doing so you can make these homeowners happy. You have to believe so you can make the homeowners believe. I feel like, in this industry and construction in general, there's not too many guys like me or you that have that value proposition that will, hey, well, let's break everything down. Let's go over, let's go checklist in this room, and I'm going to educate you on everything in this house. That's a key to his education. Just like Andy Frisilla, his company, I mean, they educate you on their stuff. There's why I buy his products and why I'm such a big follower of him is because, one, he's real. At the end of the day, he is one of the most real and coolest dudes you will ever meet. Two, he's built such a great brand based off these principles that every business owner should be doing, and it's all based around service and your customers. People miss that boat all the time.
Well, plus it's the high-end quality products too. I mean, you notice I like it since I've been on First Form products too. I mean, you notice a huge difference because it's all quality. It's all, and it's 100%. He preaches it. He goes, "I'm not the cheapest. I'm not by far." A lot of people go with the cheapest brands, and then they end up coming to me because they see that I give you a quality protein or a quality pre-workout or a quality vitamin too. It's just, that's what it's all about in every business. But a lot of people just don't take the time, like you said, and they just don't care. I mean, they just want to make that quick buck, and that's it. And it's sad. I mean, but it's unfortunate too. But yeah, I guess it benefits people like you and me that are actually going to take the time in the long run too, because things don't happen overnight. Yeah. Like everybody wants it to. So
we're in it for the long haul, man. At the end of the day, this is I mean, we keep talking about Andy, but hearing Andy's story, if he didn't start making money for 10 years, I'm 7 years into my journey with my business. And, about a year ago, I was like, man, I'm not a millionaire yet. Yeah, my company's a lot of revenue, but we're growing, and I put so much money back into the business because I have a bigger, like Andy,
what you're supposed to.
I'll be $1 billion brand one day. And I have this vision that, why can't I be? And, I take the long journey. And, a year ago I got into that, and I was just like, man, why am I not a millionaire yet? I want this, $3 million home on the water. I want this, I want that. But then it hit me. It's like, you can't build a real brand overnight. And, I'm blessed enough to have made money in my first 6 years, and I should just be happy with that. And I just, and since I've taken that approach of just having gratitude for what I've built so far, and being happy with, the life that I'm living, it's kind of given me a little bit more of peace inside to know that I'm going to be there one day. I just don't need to rush there. I don't need to like sprint there. I'm going to do the slow growth, and I'm going to do it right. Because like I told you earlier, man, I went through a lot when we had a hyper growth last year. And like I tell people at my company, like, I never want to be up here. I never want to be at rock bottom again. I just want to stay right here.
Yeah.
Right. If I can stay level and we can do the hockey stick growth, I'm going to be happy. I don't want to just spike like we did last year and all of a sudden be like, oh crap, we can't handle this, because it was, I think we would have been the first $20 million company that would have went out of business,
Yeah.
in a year. Like, it was crappy.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like you said too. I mean, or me and you talked about, it's the realtor example too. Everybody gets their real estate license when they move to the state of Florida because they think they're going to make that quick, $30,000 sale or whatever, and make that money real quick. The guy that worked under me was the same exact way. I mean, he's like, oh, I'm going to crush it, this and that. It's been a year, or a year and a half, and he finally just sold his first property. You know what I mean? And it's a process of, you know, getting him educated and training him and him learning. I mean, he's done stuff with me where I've paid him, you know, and done partials with me, but I'm teaching him. I mean, I've been a licensed real estate for 8 years, and now I have a lot happening. Fine, you know, it's taken that time. Yeah, I've done some deals and stuff because I've always been involved in sales, but it's a process, man. And then that process too makes you appreciate what you have is the biggest thing too. Like your company, you're going to appreciate where you got to in the end. It's not just something about you. You appreciate your employees, you appreciate the people that you've helped and served, and then they're long-term customers too. And you build that brand, like you said, and that national goal that you want to do is it's coming
Just
too.
takes, man.
Yeah.
It's having a vision too, you know, and they talk about visualization so much. And, you know, it's crazy. We saw Jesse Itzler speak, right? And I've
Yeah.
been communicating with him a lot. And I have this vision of him investing in efficient home services.
Yeah. There you go.
Where, dude, I had a conversation with him back at the lunch, and I told him what I did, and his ears perked up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about my growth plan. He looked at me, he goes, "Do you have a plan to go national yet?" I said, "No." I was like, "I don't have the financial backing for that." And
That's
I
awesome.
wrote him on Instagram. I said, "Hey, man, you know, you seem like you're interested in solar." He's like, "Man," he's like, "I love it." He's like, I'm a hippie." He's
Yeah.
like, "I'm going to try to position myself. I'm going to wait a few months, but visualizing what you want, not only out of
Mm.
life and who you want to partner with, but also within your company." I do a lot of visualization of, you know, the processes I want in place. What the direction do we want to go? How is my day going to go today? Right. I mean, I'm big on that. Like I wake up every morning. My routine is I don't touch my phone. I go right in the shower and I meditate. My
Mm.
meditation is mapping out my day in my mind, the beginning of it. And then the end of my meditation is like all the material things I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember how Andy talked about, oh, getting in my Lamborghini, coming out, touching the wooden railing, going up into his private jet. Like, you know, I'm a big believer on that, doing that within your own business, not just within your own life.
Yeah, me too.
You know? And it works, man. At the end of the day, people probably think we're crazy talking about this until people really do it and you start seeing it happening for you. And then when you're like, shit, I was visualizing that. Now I have it. Or this happened, you know, that's when you know it's real. You know,
Well,
like
it's crazy to think about too, man. Like I've thought about like visualization. I never truly thought about until I actually started really doing it this past couple of years or whatever. But I mean, growing up as a kid, you visualize stuff in your mind that you want something, you know, and you're like, oh, I wish I can have that, or I wish I can have that girl, you know, like growing up and like it's 8th grade or freshman year of high school or something. You're like, I want that chick, this and that in your head, and then boom, all of a sudden you're dating her, you know, that's visualization, but you didn't even notice what you were, you know, or as a little kid you want that toy or whatever, and then you get that toy. It's all visualizing.
it
And
is.
people, it's powerful. It really is, you know. Big believer in it too. um let's so as far as price too, like on average cost, this can vary. I mean, this might be a tough question, but you know, obviously you being priced a certain way versus another company that might be less, what should customers know up front when discussing pricing structure? You know, on average, how much does solar cost, stuff like that, and what should they know just to educate them?
All right. Well, how you price out solar, it goes based off your kilowatt consumption from your
Okay.
power. Okay. And we price per the kilowatt. So our price will go as low as 280 a watt all the way up to 335 a watt, but we price accordingly, which means depending on what power company we're dealing with, because they're all different, right? That's how we size our systems and we do our pricing per different area. Things that homeowners need to know is there's no upfront cost. 90% of the homeowners finance these projects, and the solar loans these days are better than mortgages. We have a solar loan right now. It's a 20-year, 2.99% interest rate. That's lower than your mortgage rate, right? Like you can't get any better than that. So the whole goal is to put the homeowner in pocket, meaning they have a $300 electric bill, but we're going to get you on a fixed bill, wipe out your electric bill, but we're going to get you on a fixed $220 bill for the next 20 years, and then you're free and clear of the system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just basically how it works, man. The people that pay cash, they see an average ROI of about 7 years. If you're financing and you pay your actual electric bill cost towards the system, you're anywhere from a 12 to 14-year ROI.
Okay.
It all depends on how it's structured. And then you'll have the people that will take the full 20 years, you know. And then the government's giving subsidies too. You got a 30% federal tax credit that, you know, kind of goes away at the end of this year. It's going
That's
down
what
to
I was going to ask you. Yeah.
26%. So right now, speaking about our install turnaround times earlier, 37 days, that gives us a niche at the end of the year to go with efficient home services, right? Like we can get you done by the end of the year, where these other companies are going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 months out. And I sense a lot of bad reviews coming by the end of the year because, like we talked about, a lot of these guys are going to put their foot where their mouth is and say, oh, yeah, we'll definitely get it done, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. We got you. And then what's going to happen when we roll into January and they're not done? They lose out on that tax credit. Then they're going to get a 1-star review instead of just saying, transparency, hey, guys, we may not be able to get it done. Like this morning, I did a $70,000 deal this morning, but the guy wanted it guaranteed that we'd have it done. Well, I can guarantee that, because I know my install turnarounds, where a lot of these other companies, I don't feel like they really care about the finish, right? It's all about, hey, how much sales we get, how much revenue.
Yeah.
With you, I've been through that. And now my main focus is on the back end of the company. That is my baby now. I'm a born salesman. Going over the operations wasn't fun. I don't think it's fun for any sales guy diving into operations, but it's given me a better understanding of the business. And I actually, honestly, man, I really enjoy it. To me, like sales is natural, but coming in operations and problem solving and doing logistics and all this stuff, like that's rewarding to me, because it's something that I don't thrive in or that I'm not like the best at. So when we kill it and we come up with this crazy, game plan, we're going to roll 20 trucks this week and we're going to 20 installs done, and we do the logistics behind it, like that's accomplishing to me, not doing the $3 or $4 million a month like we do. Like I love finishing the projects now. I don't like selling. You know what I mean? That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, because you're applying yourself to all aspects of the business too. I mean, yeah, we're all salespeople. Well, you should be if you're in business. You're some form of salesperson, but just what you said is awesome, man. It's something that not a lot of people can handle too. So I mean, you learning it on your own and everything too that's great too. So
I had a great team. They kind of
helps out.
So yeah, but with the whole the solar thing with the homeowners and the pricing, it just depends, man. I mean, it all depends on their kilowatt price, how much electricity they use, and that's basically it. That's how we size our systems, and as long as there's enough roof space up there. And another thing people need to know too, there's a tier 1 and tier 2 systems.
Okay.
These companies, they don't disclose to these homeowners. If you go above 11.5 kW system, you go into what's called a tier 2. At that point, the power companies require the homeowner to have a full umbrella policy over the home, right? And that's not disclosed a lot in the industry, and we run into that because the sales reps are like, I just want to get the sale, because it does make their insurance go up, $30-$40 a month. And to some of these sales reps of these other companies, they don't educate their sales reps on that. So then they don't educate the homeowner. And then, then it gives a bad name for the industry. So that's another thing homeowners need to look out for, is if you have 11.5 kW system or up, before the power company comes out and swaps your meter, you have to have an umbrella policy. And I think everybody needs to know that, because we run into that so much in this industry. Or, other companies, they'll undersize the system just because they want to stay in that tier 1 range. Then the homeowner still has a power bill, and then they're also paying an electric bill. So
yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, it's good to know too, definitely. I mean, I'm learning as I sit here too, because I mean, that's the thing. Not a lot of people do know about solar. It's becoming so popular too. So that's the whole point of this too, is kind of educate them on it if they're thinking about going that path. And yeah, so that's cool, man. So let's talk about like product. Your product. Me and you brushed on this too, how much product knowledge is key. I talked about towards, houses, real estate, and so on. You should know as much about your product that you can. How are you applying this strategy?
We do constant training all the time. I can't even, we probably overtrain. That's really it, man. It's just you training constantly, doing the webinars with either the inverter company or, panel knowledge, which the panels are pretty cut and dry. There's not too much really to know about the panels, just basically warranties, size of the panel. That's really it. But the inverters, man, we train on that a lot with our installers. For our sales reps, it's constant product knowledge, product training, because we do sell a variation of all of our products. So all about knowing the SEER ratings, energy efficiency rating, insulation, blowing in compared to rolled out, spray icing, closed in, open cell. There's just so much to it, but constant training. And I cannot stress this enough in this industry. is if you are a business owner, you should be doing training 3 days a week. Your team, your sales reps, if they're out selling shit, or excuse me, if they're out selling stuff, they need to be training, because the last thing you want to do is mislead a homeowner. And like we were talking earlier, it's their number one investment, man. Treat their homes like it's your own. So for me, man, it's just constant training and keeping up on that and always innovating. So like right now, we're building an app. We're building an app out that's going to have product training constantly. It's going to have quizzes that our sales reps are going to have to pass these quizzes every week. That's awesome, this, like we put a lot of money into this because I do, like I said, I want to be the best of the best. And I know for me to execute on this vision I have, I need to make my sales reps better and make them more informed. You know, I want them to be able to pull up in an app. If they don't know something, hey, let's pull up the EHS app, go in. Okay. You know, here's the information, blah, 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 blah. Show the homeowner. But then every week they're going to have to do product training in there. They're going to have to do sales training. They're going to have to do finance training. I mean, there's a lot that goes into what we do from the sales reps, which is why they make the big bucks, is because they have to know all the products. They have to know the processes, and they also have to know the financing. And that's a big part of it, because we work with so many big banks. They all have their own the things that they need. Each bank is different. Some of them require the full proposal. Some of them require nothing. Some will require, you know, POI, copy of driver's license, title and deed on the home. I mean, there's so much stuff. And if you don't get, you know, all the documentation, it holds the project up.
Yeah.
If we don't get to those 37-day turnaround, man, I'm an angry person.
So speaking of that, let's talk about, you know, like your process a little bit more. Like, how are you guiding your customers throughout the process to avoid, you know, unwanted surprises? So what are you doing to guide them? And then let's talk about too, just to move ahead, just your customer service. And, you know, I always talk about your long-term relationships. So how are you maintaining the relationships after that initial process? So from guiding them to after the process and maintaining relationships long-term, how are you doing this?
Through the process, I'm going to give you from lead conception all the way through install. Okay. We get the lead. One of our call center reps will call the homeowner. They set the appointment, right? Our auditor goes out to the house. They audit. We do a full audit on the home. We don't just come in and say, hey, here's your solar proposal. We get into the attic. We check the AC. We check the ductwork. We check the roof. We check the hot water heater. We check any inductive equipment in the home, your washer, dryer. I mean, we go through everything. We make it as thorough as possible, so the homeowner's already getting value right away, right? It's not as if we're just coming in and say, hey, here's your solar proposal. They love EHS. They say, EHS, we want to go with you. You guys are all rock stars. You guys are the best. We're signing up with you. We say, okay, great. We get them signed up, get them, you know, financing into our CRM. We take the welcome picture. Put our yard sign in the yard. We leave the home. They get a thank you video from the sales rep being in front of their house. At that point, it goes into job sold status. From job sold, they get a welcome call. Right? The welcome call is done by Natasha. She's absolutely amazing. She calls them. She addresses everything on the call, welcomes them to the EHS family, sends them email packets, you know, everything that they need. At that point, it goes from welcome call to site survey. Site survey calls the next, everything's on a time schedule. They have 24 hours to 48 hours to get all this stuff done. Site surveyor calls him, sets a site survey. He goes out there, gets on the roof, talks to the homeowners. They do panel placement, checks the electrical panel, make sure everything's good to go. From that part, it goes into engineering. Okay. Once it goes into engineering, now through email statuses, the homeowner's getting emails every single time one of these statuses is changed. Automation, and they're really cool. They're like funny, quirky. You know, I'll actually send you some of them when we get off the call so you can see what they're like. Site survey gets done. From site survey goes to engineering into permitting. Once the permit's done, it comes back into the office. Once the permit is in hand, we call and we schedule the PV, right? PV gets scheduled. After the PV scheduled, we go out and we install. Our installers are trained when they get to the house, handshakes, conversation, educating the homeowner as they're installing the product, right? We have some homeowners that we even bring up on the roof with us. But that's important though. Educating them on their system and what to expect and how it all works is huge, because when they go to their neighbor's house late at night to have a glass of wine, they say, man, I learned so much about solar. These guys were unbelievable.
That's awesome.
And then their interest sparks, and then they're going to tell somebody and tell somebody. So after the install process gets done, schedule the inspection. Inspection passes inspection. It goes into interconnection agreement. From interconnection, power company comes out and swaps the meter. After the meter is swapped, we have a exit interview that's done where she goes out to the home, she turns the system on, she gets referrals, 5-star reviews. And then after that process, they kind of go into a job sold queue, right? After that, since it's kind of a one-time big sale, right, we don't really do too much with the customer up until now, right? That's why I'm glad we're talking about this. So we're about to get this battery because the inverters that we sell, they're called In-Phase, best in the industry. They're coming out with this brand new battery solution. And this is unlike anything else in the industry where we're going to be able to plug and play a battery like that. We're going to be able to go out. We're not going to have to swap inverters. We're not going to have to, add a sub panel. Like, it's going to be very, very simple to the homeowner, and they're very cost effective. So that's why I'm kind of glad we're talking about this, because now we're compiling lists and we're going to be able to roll out these email campaigns to these homeowners and try to sell them backup batteries. Right now, batteries are so damn expensive. Nobody wants them. I wouldn't even, honestly, man, I don't like selling them. Unless you beg me to sell one, I don't, because they suck and they're not cost effective. These new ones coming out are amazing. They'll power your whole home. They're cost effective. And, they're really going to be a key part here in Florida. I feel like the future of Florida going forward. So as far as that and keeping up with our customers, just automation emails, man, welcome calls, making sure they're happy. And that's really about it. There's not too much to it. It's just communication.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing though too, is the communication process. I mean, you brushed on this a little bit, how lacking it is with a lot of companies, but you're literally holding their hand and guiding them throughout the whole entire process too. And that's what I like too, is you actually, talking about bringing them on the roof and so on, and educating them on exactly what you're doing. It's not just we're in, we're out, see you later. Like, that's building that relationship, so that me and you talked about this also, that you're gonna, they're gonna go to their friends for a glass of wine or whatever and talk about you, and how cool it was with your company and this and that. Now we got solar. It's great. We're going to save all kinds of money, because that's what Shawn told us we're going to do. And, it's going to be, and that's how retention and everything keeps happening, every referral and so on too, which is awesome, man.
I mean, also what's good in that too, as I add products, right? I mean, I'm going to be a licensed roofer. That's my next thing I'm adding to the company. There's going to be a huge market for that. We're selling solar. I sub out, that's the only thing I really sub out. And I sub out probably 12 roofs a month. So why am I not monetizing on that and then having full control over that? I've done, in my head, I've done such a great job on building the company based off of service. And, has there been issues with the roofing company? Not really. But at the end of the day, I want to monetize and have control over that customer, right? I want to have that data. And I want to build this to where I do have that follow-up process down the road where, hey, they need something. Well, we're going to call these guys, whether it's AC, insulation, roof. If we don't take care of it up front, I want us to be able to be that fallback on, okay, well, these guys do all this other stuff too. I need to replace my roof. Can you guys come down and take down the panels? Okay, well, who's doing your roof? We do roofing now too. I can roll it into your current financing plan. So, I want to put a better follow-up process in on the back end, and that's earlier when I was kind of discussing these questions. We're a one-time sale, I feel like, which we shouldn't be, because now we have batteries. We're going to be able to go back to these homeowners.
Yeah.
I think that's something I'm going to start working on now. So when we come into the new year, we're going to be able to roll that out, be able to upsell, right, as we go. And there's going to be more EV vehicles coming out as well. I think by the end of 2020, every single car manufacturer is going to have a full lineup of electric vehicles. Huge, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for that part, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, I want to get into something that has a little bit more residual behind it. That's something we've been kind of working on, home automation stuff, because we're in so many homes, kind of, keep our client retention going and keep those.
And then they come back to you later on for, other products too, which is great. Cause I mean, them having a service and everything too, you should maintain that. And that's what me and you talked about too earlier, that I'm trying to do as far as being that gatekeeper for these customers that, they need a plumber or they need an AC maintenance guy. They can call our office. I have a guy sitting there that can, all right, let me set something up or something. Just being that one-stop shop for them is huge too, because it keeps top of mind. That's the thing,
Yeah, and it keeps the people sane too. Just people knowing that you're helping them and people knowing that something is being done about it puts them at ease.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're booking somebody 2 weeks, so like we'll have an issue with a homeowner. Right now we're backed up on service, right? So
Hmm.
we use this inverter called Solar Edge. They're having a huge faulty issue right now, like 30% fault rate. I mean, they might as well just shut down because I mean, everybody in this industry is jumping ship. They were the largest. They messed up big time. And right now we're about 2 weeks out on service calls because of this issue, right? And what I've found is at least getting somebody on the schedule 2 weeks out is better than us trying to fit somebody in that day and then missing that appointment and then them being super disappointed,
Hmm.
right? As long as you're getting them on the schedule, I think it just puts people at ease.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about you a little bit. As far as you personally, you've built an amazing company and it continues to grow every single day. What lessons have you learned throughout the journey that, we should all apply to our own business and our own lives to help us all grow?
The number one thing I can tell you is just to work hard.
Yeah. There you go.
There's nothing special about me. I'll tell people that, like Andy said, there's no magic success fairy that's just going to pop you on the head and say, dude, you got it. You're going to be successful. I work hard. I immerse myself in self-growth. And I try to be the best leader I can be, right?
Hmm.
And if you can be a great leader and people will rally behind you and do anything for you, your business will grow. I feel like, when you're in business and you're growing and you have issues, you can't really let the rest of your team know. You kind of just got to be the staple, and you got to be able to stand up strong and be able to, have these people believe in you that everything's going to be okay.
Hmm.
And that's really it, man. And integrity. I mean, you always got to do the right thing. That's something else. With hard work comes integrity. Like if you're going to have those two things, I feel like you can build an extremely, extremely successful brand because one, you're going to do things the right way. And two, I feel like hard work is going to create that snowball effect, right? And if you wake up every day and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind, eventually you're going to hit that snowball effect and things are going to start happening for you. And then things are going to start moving quickly. When that starts happening, man, you just got to just be ready for it, man. Be ready to ride that wave and capitalize on your moment. We all have a moment. Every single one of us in life, you have that moment where it's like, okay, am I going to capitalize on this or not? And I feel like that's something I've been good at. I've dropped the ball in some areas. I've cost our company $2 million at one point, but at the end of the day, I did that because I tried to do something new. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, you always got to be innovating and trying to do things differently and find different ways of doing stuff. As you heard Jesse Itzler talk about the whole brownie story, like what makes you different?
Yeah.
And that's why coming back from that, my new business plan that I've kind of tweaked from the one we're going to roll out in 2020 is going to help us scale and be that national brand. Like I have a saying around here that I want to be the McDonald's of solar, right? I want to have a shop or a warehouse in every city, not these big cities. Like I'm not talking about going, St. Pete, Tampa, like the Fort Myers, the Port St. Lucie's, the Pensacola's,
Hmm.
the Ocalas, like places like that where there's 100, 200,000 homes or people that live there. Like those are the areas I target because those are like the little honey holes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the areas that none of these large, big national brands are going to go into because they want to just go into these big cities and they just want to have their infrastructure based out of that city where I'm like, screw that. I can go to a warehouse office for a couple grand. I only need a warehouse manager. I have a sales manager already who has a sales teams. And plus a homeowner is going to want to buy from you if you're a local. If you have an office locally, they're more
Hmm.
apt to buy from you, right? If I'm selling in freaking Pensacola and I only have an office in St. Petersburg, I mean, why do they
Yeah.
want
They're not.
me, right? I mean, I'm 7 hours away, 6 hours away. What is that? You know what I mean? So we're taking a different approach in the new year. But sorry, I kind of got off topic there. But if I
No,
had to give
no,
you
that's good. No.
hard work and integrity, man. At the end of the day, you do those two things. You just pound the pavement every day, and you do things the right way. Good things will start happening for you.
No, yeah, it's spot on, man. Because we talked about it a little bit. There's not enough people that want to put in that extra work or return that extra, do that extra give extra, give more value, do as much as possible, go above and beyond for everybody else, and not just worry about the money, but worry about the customer too. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I just got so sick of it with the real estate industry and with the construction industry, because I deal with it all the time. I don't know how many jobs I've lost, you know, shipbuilders that just, they lowball them, and it drives you nuts. Because I put in the work and all that time into something, but then it goes to a number, it goes down to, I'm just going to go with this guy because he is basically the number, the price, and then they end up getting screwed. I've had a few customers call me and say, oh, I should have went with you, and they admitted it. They actually admitted it, and they gave me their phone. They said, anytime you bid against this builder, have your person call me, and
That's cool.
yeah, I've actually had that happen. I've had it happen a few times too. I just had it happen recently because I reached out to a customer and I was like, hey, just following up this and that. She's like, oh, we went a different direction. I was like, that's fine. If you need anything, feel free to ask. I'm still happy to help no matter what. And I probably was like this. And she ended up emailing me asking about permitting and why it's taken her builder so long for permits. And, I'm not going to bash any of the builders. That's not our company. And that's not who we are. I just know these processes enough, and I'll help them. I mean, I'll tell them how long it should be and so on. So it's just, people, they make their choices off of cash and stuff like that, but then they learn from it. And then they come to us later on, companies that are, established, that are doing the right thing. And, then they're still hesitant because they got screwed before, but we got to hold their hand and take them through the process.
It's crazy. I was thinking yesterday, I was like, why does it always take for people? And this is just, I was thinking, so I'm going to think about myself here. So I was sitting there yesterday and, I've always been in really good shape, and I've kind of let myself go. And right. And I was thinking yesterday, I was like, man, why does it take me to get to this point to now want to go to the gym and now want to do this? And that's the same thing in business. Like these customers, why does it take people making money mistakes, to realize, like, if I did my research prior, if I would have done this or that, I probably would have saved that buck. But it's just one of those thought processes. I think us as humans, we just wait and we procrastinate on this stuff until either one, we're losing money, or two, we just feel like crap about ourselves till we do something about it, right? So it's just something I was thinking about yesterday, just sitting there. It's like, why do people always wait? And it's not just me. I feel like it's just society in general, right? We wait and we wait and we wait until something happens and that trigger goes off, and it's like, shit, I need to do something about this.
Yeah. And I mean, I've dealt with it. It's common. I mean, it really is in everything, in a lot of aspects, and when you're dealing with our industry and you're dealing with one of the biggest investments of your life, people aren't putting in enough research. They're looking at the number. I just had one, and I talk about it all the time, that the wife even said our quality was 10 times better. She even said it. She goes, your quality is 10 times better. I just, it is, it really is. But then the husband was like, I just can't get past the number. And I went line item by line item through, and said, all right, we're giving you a 40,000 allowance. They're giving you 10,000 for appliances. So that can't even buy a fridge and a stove. So it's like I took him through, but it was still that number in his eyes that he couldn't get past. And they went with that other builder. Less quality, less allowances, went with the other builder. And I mean, we're not meant for everybody. That was kind of where that really hit right there.
You remember my saying earlier? I mean, you can't fit,
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it just, some people just don't understand that. They don't understand the value proposition. And, that's why I feel like that's something I harp on every day, is like, we build value. I've built my company on value. You have to, I feel like the cheapest guy they're never going to get to where they want to go. Right. You doing what you're doing, man, you keep building that value, and, you're going to start getting a huge, like, referrals, customers, and people see like the stories you're telling now, and having those customer testimonials that didn't go with you, part of your story, and have them be like, yeah, I wish I would have gone with them. I went with Joe and Mike from Mike's Builders, and now I'm paying the price. My quality's crap. The workmanship was crap. The timeline was crap. I was uneducated through the whole process. Those types of people can be advocates for you in your business.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's the thing. It's unfortunate. We got to put in the time, us as business owners, we put in all that time and so on. But, it's just, somebody will come along, somebody else will come along that wants your quality, wants your expertise, and wants to work with you. And that's just the nature of the beast, I guess, the business. So anyway, so let's, I had a question where I talked about your future, kind of, what you're thinking is you've discussed this as far as your future goals and so on. Let's go a little bit more into that. So, where do you see your business in the next, let's say, 5 years from now?
Where do I see it? I see it across the United States. In 5 years, I feel like we're going to be doing, $500 million, not only in sales, but $500 million in revenue. I mean, I see us being in probably a good 40 states, having a presence in a lot of these smaller areas. And I'm not going to stop until, I'm at least close to my vision or where I want to be. With that business model I was telling you earlier about, I feel like that is obtainable. Because at the end of the day, I have a call center, right? I have a call center that can call all of the United States. So for me to get leads and to get sales, that's the easy part. For me, it's just going to be about the logistics and the cash flow. Being an RTA, being able to work with some very high level people, and people that have a lot of money, I know I'm going to get there. And my plan is to go nationwide. I'm probably going to go into Texas, and I think Las Vegas was our other one we were discussing, within the next 6 months. So, I'm going to start expanding that way. I have really good people that I can put in these places that can go grow these offices. And, if I can do that and replicate what I'm doing now with just 3 offices in Florida, I think we're going to end this year.
Yeah. Awesome.
I can get to that mark. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Good for you. I mean, that's awesome. I definitely can see you doing that too, man. I can see you being nationwide too. That's, good for you too. And driving forward on that goal. So I always ask this last question: what exactly do people need to look for when hiring a energy efficiency or solar company, and why should they choose Efficient Home Services as their contractor of choice?
First thing you need to look for is reputation, man. Make sure that the company is reputable. Make sure they have the proper insurances, the proper licensing. Make sure that what they're selling you, they're going to be able to back up. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Make sure that they're not just selling you a bunch of words and crap like that. And at the end of the day, I mean, people, if you need to look for Efficient Home Services, I mean, we can service the whole state of Florida. You can go to our website. It's ehsfl.com. Or you can call our 1-800 number. It's 844-EHS-SOLAR. And we can help anybody out in the state. And that's really it, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just making sure that all the processes are in place for the consumer where, like I said, the insurance, the reviews, do their research, make sure that the licensing is important. There's so many companies that don't have the proper licensing in the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll advertise. I've seen this. I saw this AC company doing this when we were subbing out work to. I went to go look the company up. It wasn't even the name of the company of the license they had on the side of the vehicle. Like, that is extremely illegal. So, people need to be aware, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people aren't. And that's why in our pitch book that we have our licensing, we have our insurance. We show people, that we are real and we are who we say we are. And that's who we are at the end of the day. We are a real company. We're real people. And we love helping people, love it. So that's really it, man.
Awesome. I mean, the bottom line, do your research. That's what I always tell people too. When you're looking to invest in solar, or build a house or AC work or whatever, just do your research ahead of hand. Don't just go with the cheapest guy. Long story short, like we talked about multiple times. So,
make sure the company has referrals. Make sure that you can reach out to some of their clients and they can advocate for you, right? At the end of the day, that's powerful. If you have living, breathing people that can advocate your product and say that you did a wonderful job and you took care of their number one investment in their home, that's a win-win in my book.
Yeah, spot on. Shawn, this has been awesome, man. So much great info on a topic I've been wanting to talk about too, because it's so popular. Last thing too, where can people find you on, social media and so on?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Shawn Henry EHS, or you can find me on Facebook, just Shawn Henry.
Cool. And they could also find Marley on there too, right?
Yeah, find Marley. It's at Marley Jefferson Jr. On Instagram.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, this has been great, man. I really appreciate you coming on for sure. Thank you so much.
Of course, hey,
Too.
I'm not far from you, so if you ever want to make the trip up or you want me to make the trip down, man, you just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's definitely do that, man. You're 2.5 hours, so yeah, it's not bad. I used to go up there all the time, so for sure. Yeah, we definitely got to link up. But thanks for coming on. I'll see you guys on the next episode.